factors that have made the largest rainforest on Earth the world's most dangerous place for environmental and land activists. Pará, Brazil's second-largest state, covering a landmass almost 3 times that of California, seemed like an obvious area to investigate. In addition to being dangerous for campaigners, it is also a place where the rule of law is said to be plagued by corruption and impunity, imparting a sense of lawlessness in cattle, wood, mineral, and agro-commodities production on many of the state's frontiers. These areas are connected to the world through supply chains reaching markets as far away as China, Russia, Spain, and the United States. My source suggested that I do my research in southeastern Pará, one of the most developed areas and home to tens of thousands of migrants who have moved from throughout Brazil to cash in on the riches of both natural resources and the seemingly endless availability of land. Marabá, a sprawling city built up along the Tocantins River, is the regional hub, where direct flights land from Brasília, but my source advised me to focus on a lesser-known town, Rondon do Pará, or Rondon, as people call it. For decades, he said, Rondon had been home to criminal organizations that had plundered the region's rainforest, often resorting to hired assassins to silence opponents. He described the town, which is close to the border of Maranhão state, as a nest of gunmen, or pistoleros, with ties not only to powerful rural elites, but also to law enforcement and politicians in the Brazilian Congress. At the top of this entwined and murky system of power, according to my source, were large landowners in the region. They were os donos do lugar, the masters of the place. It's a risky town for a reporter, the source told me, but I think you should go and contact the people of the local Rural Workers Union. They have lots of stories to tell. Rondon has a history typical of its time and place. In the late 1960s, when the Brazilian federal government decided to build a grid of highways penetrating the hinterlands, settlers moved into the lands of an indigenous tribe, triggering clashes in what is today Rondon, but was at the time a forest so dense and alive that, according to pioneers, a monkey could cross it from branch to branch without ever setting foot on the ground. The tribe was removed by the government and transferred to a reservation, and colonists began to carve out gardens, farms, and cattle ranches. Pioneers recalled arriving in the area on foot and settling in the absolute wilderness, often near streams and rivers. As they waited for their new gardens to provide a first harvest of rice and manioc, they survived on a diet of river turtle eggs, fish, and roasted armadillos. Some died from malaria or snake bite. Others aged rapidly due to the great hardships they endured, their hands wrinkled and bony from clearing areas and building wooden cabins with rusty axes. The extreme loneliness of the settlers was eased only by the sense of opportunity. As the colonization process progressed, with trails hacked through the wilderness, word spread that the region was open for development. Hordes of migrants and entire families of sharecroppers and landless peasants from Maranhão, one of Brazil's poorest states, flocked into the region to claim a plot. Wealthy ranchers, dealers in wood, and land sharks also moved in, traveling in small planes that flew for hours over a carpet of green before landing on tiny and bumpy airstrips. Covered in sand and dotted with weeds, these were located near Marabá or Paragominas, another outpost that had developed earlier than Rondon. The men in the plains came from rich states in the southeast of Brazil, like Minas Gerais or Espírito Santo. Soon, these rural entrepreneurs, often referred to as fazendeiros, formed a rural elite influencing politics and shaping the future development of Pará. Although the Amazon is often imagined as a natural continent of expansive fertility, around 10% of